You know, you're looking at all these headlines and you're probably wondering, who's this guy, George Galloway, and why should I really care? Well, besides the fact that he's like #1 trending on social media and in the news right now, he's an individual that the United West has been tracking since 2009, 15 years. And 10 years ago in 2014, we did a very deep investigative dive to expose George Galloway as a Jew-hating member of the British Parliament to the whole world. Well, folks, George Galloway has been reelected. Just recently, a few days ago, he is now a member again of the British Parliament, and he's spewing his Jew hate worldwide. I want you to take a look at our investigative expose, 2014, 10 years ago, where we're right on the money. Check it out. It's an amazing investigative story. Hi, Tom Trento here with another episode in our ongoing special on the war in Israel, Operation Protective Edge, an inside look, destroy Hamas. And the word for today that encompasses our show is Jew-free. What this world needs is some Jew-free cities in the world, and then the world's problems will start to subside. At least that's what one member of Parliament in England believes, ladies and gentlemen. Take a look at this obnoxious piece of video.
We have declared Bradford an Israel-free zone. We don't want any Israeli goods. We don't want any Israeli services. We don't want any Israeli academics coming to the university or the college. We don't even want any Israeli tourists to come to Bradford, even if any of them had thought of doing so. We reject this illegal, barbarous, savage state that calls itself Israel. And you have to do the same.
Unbelievable. Here we have an elected member of Parliament in a free nation, the United Kingdom, calling for a Jew-free zone. Well, who is this individual, George Galloway? Many Americans have not heard of him. We here at the United West, not only have we heard of George Galloway, folks, we have investigated him. In fact, we have exposed George Galloway and a particular mosque in Orlando, Florida, joining together to raise money for the Hamas back a couple of years ago after Operation Cast Lead in January of 2009. We're going to show you that investigative report. And for this show, we want to expose this individual, George Galloway, so that all Americans understand the battle that's taking place and how we need to stand for Israel as these venomous people spew this Jew hatred in the hallowed halls of Parliament in England. One good way to take a look at an individual is to take a look at his life. And over the past 25 years or so, Mr. George Galloway has had not one, not two, not three, but 4 wives. Hey, you know, what can you say? He's had 4 wives. And the last 3 of his wives have been Muslim women where he has gotten married in a Muslim ceremony. Whenever he is confronted with whether or not he is a Muslim, he refuses to answer that. But folks, de facto, he has been involved in 3 Islamic marriage ceremonies. And now recently, about a year ago, he married a woman younger than one of his daughters. Yes, of course, this happens. But this is now an individual that we want you to take a good look at. So the point there is Muslim marriages, 3 of them. The current marriage is a Muslim woman. What does he think about Israelis? Well, here's what he thinks. I'm going to show you a short clip where George Galloway in 2001 was acclaimed as one of the best debaters. He really is a phenomenal orator, speaker, which is why he's dangerous. in 2013, February, he had a debate at Oxford. Take a look at what happened at an Oxford debate, and then we're going to show you what he thinks about Jews.
Only a peace treaty can provide a framework for enduring peace and security. I'm sorry, Mr. Galloway?
You said we. Are you an Israeli?
I am, yes.
I don't debate with Israelis. I've been misled. Sorry.
Racism.
I don't recognize Israel, and I don't debate with Israelis.
He's a human being.
Huh? The guy's a Jew? The guy's an Israeli? No way. I don't debate Israelis. I do not recognize Israel. Member of Parliament George Galloway storms out. Well, we know he hates Israelis. Who does he admire in this world? Take a look at this short piece of video, and you'll see the kind of world leaders that Mr. Galloway admires.
Sir, I salute your courage, your strength, your indefatigability. I can honestly tell you that there was not a single person to whom I told I was coming to Iraq and hoping to meet with yourself who did not wish me to convey their heartfelt, fraternal greetings and support.
And now I want to show you a critically important investigative documentary that we did back in 2009 that not only exposed George Galloway as a fundraiser for Hamas at the Al-Rahman Mosque in Orlando, and the imam there is Imam Musri, Mohammad Musri. In fact, the imam at the Al-Rahman Mosque in Orlando, Mohammad Musri, was in 2009 the advisor, the personal advisor to then Governor Charlie Crist. He was the advisor for Muslim affairs, Imam Musri was, to the Governor Charlie Crist, who subsequently was no longer the governor of Florida, but is now running again in November against current Governor Rick Scott. Charlie Crist is running to be the governor again. Crazy world we live in. But we did this investigation back in June because they heard George Galloway with Brit was going to be there. And the way we do it, we got our cameras in, and we're going to show you this investigative report filmed June of 2009. We were not able to release it until August of 2010 because once the word got out, several federal agencies wanted to see the tape. We had to hand it over to them. And from what we understand, the tape was instrumental in not allowing George Galloway, who subsequently left the Parliament in England, to return back to the United States because of his Hamas fundraising activity in Orlando. Later, in 2012, he was reelected and is currently a member of Parliament, so he can travel to the United States and probably will be here in the near future, which is why we're showing you all of this. Take a look at our investigative report from 2009. Hi, Tom Trento here in front of the Ground Zero Mosque in New York City. But today we're bringing you an investigative report about a mosque in Florida that is raising money for Hamas. You're not going to believe what you're about to see. Send this video all over the United States, please.
On June 14, 2009, a special investigative unit infiltrated the Al-Haram Mosque in Orlando, Florida, a Muslim Brotherhood, the founder of Hamas, front organization. What they uncovered was an international conspiracy to fund Islamic terrorism from within the United States via George Galloway, Imam Brit, and Imam Mohammad Musri. 1 year later, federal, state, and local authorities have granted permission to release the video.
Anybody is a supporter of Hamas here? Anybody is a supporter of Hamas here? We are all supporters of Hamas. Allahu Akbar. Anybody supports Hezbollah here? Anybody supports Hezbollah here? Takbir! Takbir!
You spoke in Northern Virginia And I took you up on the challenge. You said we want to send over, Brother George said, let's send a convoy with the U.S. flag. Well, we've got the equipment. We're going to send it, inshallah. We're going to go with your movement. These are Palestinians shipping from here, from Florida to New York, and from New York to Egypt, and from Egypt, we'll put it into Gaza, inshallah, God willing. You should have no ambiguity here. You have to make sure that you're really plain about what your mission is here. I came to raise money for this particular affair. Who will give, pledge, donate, raise, commit tonight for $10,000? Who will it be? Takbir! 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 That's good. Alhamdulillah, we have two. One other person. Takbir! Hold your hand up, brother. Come right here, brothers. You young baby brothers, move quickly. Move quickly. Yeah. If you write a check, your check should be made payable to MAS, M-A-S, Freedom. And also we're 501c3. The brother wanted me to let you know that your donation is tax deductible. Okay? Your donation is tax deductible. I'll say it one more time. Your donation is tax deductible.
Whatever we brought, we will give tomorrow, inshallah, at 10 o'clock in the morning. We will give all our vehicles, our keys, our aid, our money to Ismail Haniyeh, the elected Prime Minister of Palestine. We're giving this money now to the government of Palestine. And if I could, I would give them 10 times, 100 times more.
We can choose who we want to bring into this country and who has permission to come in here. They have chosen not to allow a man like George Galloway who spends his time pimping really for terrorism, and it's absolutely inappropriate.
People who support terrorist organizations financially are inadmissible to Canada. This was the conclusion of our Canadian Border Security Agency officials.
How did he do that? How did he support?
I'll tell you. When they looked at what he's done, they ruled that on a preliminary basis, they made a preliminary ruling that he is inadmissible under our law because of his support for, in this particular instance, Hamas.
Please give a big hand to George Galloways.
I believe that this is a turning point in the United States of America. That this is a change in the United States of America. And our adversaries know that too. You've only got to listen to Fox News and Bill O'Reilly. My goodness, they're getting hot under the collar about President Barack Hussein Obama. And if our adversaries are unhappy about Barack Hussein Obama, it seems to me axiomatic that he must be doing something right. In the elections in Iran, 40 million people voted. We don't like the results. Therefore, we must maintain a posture of hostility towards the government of Iran. Hugo Chavez has won more elections than any politician in the world. In all history, in fact. 13 times he's won elections, but they still call him a dictator. And of course, the same is true in Gaza. One of my best friends is Comandante Fidel Castro. So there's nothing anti-American about me or people like me. Just because we hated George W. Bush didn't mean we hated the Americans or the United States of America. He had the alibi that he was an imbecile. President Obama has no such alibi. He may be the smartest president you ever had. So he knows the truth. He knows the importance of changing the paradigm. Now is the time. Here is the place. It's not now when. It's not under Obama when. And we have to give this. Some of my friends have to give this money to charities because they need receipts and it's not practical to do it here. There's more money coming in from my friends. Here is the money. This is not charity. This is not charity. This is not charity. This is politics.
On June 14, 2009, over $55,000 in tax-deductible contributions were collected by Mahdi Brit at the Al-Haram Mosque in Orlando, Florida, and given to George Galloway, admitted terrorist fundraiser who is banned from entering Canada. On July 16, 2009, Mass Freedom claims that a container of medical supplies was delivered to Gaza. May 31, 2010, former domestic terrorist group Weather Underground leaders Bill Ayers and Bernadine Dorn, along with Jody Evans of Code Pink, ally with George Galloway in breaking the UN-sanctioned Gaza blockade. The Free Gaza movement climaxed in a violent clash with Israeli Defense Forces, resulting in the deaths of both Muslim and Jewish peoples.
Today, we are all Hamas! Today, we are all Hamas! Today, we are all Hamas!
Letter from Brad Sherman, U.S. House of Representatives, Democrat, 27th District, California, to Attorney General Eric Holder. As chairman of the Subcommittee on Terrorism, Nonproliferation, and Trade, it has been brought to my attention that an organization known as Viva Palestina USA, headed by Mr. George Galloway, may be soliciting funds for Hamas, a designated foreign terrorist organization. Clearly, this allegation is most serious, and I request that you investigate it immediately.
Assalamu alaikum, peace be with you and welcome to Islam. I'm Imam Mohammad Musri and Ramadan Mubarak. Allah be praised, He has ordained for us in the month of fasting special prayers and special forms of charity. But the best form of charity is zakat, the second pillar of Islam. Zakat is best to be spent out during the month of Ramadan to multiply the reward that we receive. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has ordained this financial obligation on all Muslims who attain certain level of wealth.
Busted dead cold. George Galloway raising money for the Hamas at a mosque in Orlando, Florida. We ended that investigative report with Imam Mohammad Musri talking in his gentle, loving voice about zakat during Ramadan. Let me tell you about zakat, folks. Here is the reliance of the traveler. This is the rule book for Islam. And if you go to the rule book, the reliance of the traveler, Umdat Salik, you go to H817, tells you exactly what zakat, charity, Islamic charity, that's required of all Muslims, how it has to be used. There are 8 categories in zakat. Category number 7 by the rule book for Islam. I'm reading. The 7th category is for those fighting for Allah, meaning people engaged in Islamic military operations for whom no salary has been allotted in the army roster, but who are volunteers for Jihad. For Jihad, this is not like I got to lose 10 pounds Jihad. Fighting in the army for Allah. 7th category, every Muslim, if you give $8 as a Muslim for charity, one of those dollars has to go for fighting jihad per the rules of Islam. That money raised in 2009 in that Orlando mosque went into the hands of the Hamas and killed Jews. And Galloway was the conduit through Imam Mohammad Musri. Also, George Galloway is symbolic of many people who are trying to delegitimize and hurt Israel by calling for now a Jew-free zone in Europe. Does that sound familiar? Prime Minister Netanyahu, humbly, my admonition to you, as you see the world, many in the world community, developing this Jew hatred. In fact, individuals like a member of Parliament, George Galloway, calling for a Jew-free zone in Europe. Recognize that it's going to get worse before it gets better. And what is necessary, one element that is critically necessary, is the complete destruction of the military capability of the Hamas. Sadly, the Hamas has an apocalyptic ideology. They are operating on a theocratic view of life, and nothing short of their complete destruction militarily will suffice to end, at least for a while, their vision of obliterating Israel and Jewish people. So in your decision-making, Prime Minister Netanyahu, with your team, recognize you are not just fighting for the nation of Israel and for Jewish people. You are indeed fighting for free people around the world. Do your job, accomplish your job. We are standing with you side by side. Prime Minister Netanyahu, in 2014, we closed our investigative expose of the Member of Parliament, George Galloway, with an admonition to you to completely destroy the military capability of the Hamas. Well, that did not occur in 2014, and it should have. And I think all of Israel knows that now. Well, not only is George Galloway back again, but other Jew-hating leaders from around the world have gathered to point and target Israel. It now is even more essential in 2024 to completely destroy the military and political capability of the Hamas. Please, you're not just fighting for Israeli men, women, and children. You are literally fighting for the free world, for those of us here in America, Jews, Christians, others, for good men and good women worldwide. Please keep up this fight, destroy this enemy, and bring peace to Israel. May God bless you in your work.
Also, these guys at Parliament, Galloway's handing bags full of cash to Hamas. Come on. Why is he under investigation? Why don't they do something?